Hey everyone, welcome back to Open. Pro Arte Musical is known as one of the oldest nonprofit organizations dedicated to showcasing chamber music, opera, and other classical genres. Every year, people look forward to their concerts with great anticipation. And this year, well, due to the pandemic, all concerts went virtual. And joining us to share more about the next upcoming concerts, we are featuring Verona Quartet. We welcome Pro Arte Musical Executive Director Karen Schneck Malaret and Pro Arte Musical President Myrna Rivera. Hello and welcome, ladies.
Hello, Rhina. It's great to see you. Great to be with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. Actually, what I should say is welcome back, right?
Thank you.
Yes. So let's just start off with this transition that's occurred within Pro Arte, and perhaps we can even just elaborate further on Pro Arte's mission and stance within Puerto Rico.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you very much, Rhina and BronxNet. I'm part of the BronxNet family, as you know, so it's wonderful to be here with you. So as you mentioned, Pro Arte Musical is the oldest arts and culture institution in Puerto Rico. It's over 86 years old. And the mission of Pro Arte has always been to provide that intimate experience with musical excellence. And we do that in two ways. One is through live concerts. There's nothing like a live concert in our concert halls where we present world-renowned artists, as well as our own crop of extraordinary artists, which is huge in Puerto Rico. I think there's one of the little known facts that's important for us to always promote. So the live concert series and our season is one way that we do this. The other way that we do is through education and outreach to our communities. And that gets done with master classes that these same artists provide us when they come to Puerto Rico. And also through a program called Música Abierta, which roughly translates to music in the open or music in the air. And the idea is to take the musical experience outside of the concert hall and into the communities. And so this is an outreach and collaboration that we have in place with a number of NGOs, community-based organizations, faith-based organizations, to take the music into the communities. Now, of course, both strategies, right? The live concert hall experience and going into the communities were interrupted abruptly in March because of the pandemic.
Right.
And so it took our breath away. Some of us thought that by November we'd be done. And then it became very quickly evident that that would not be the case.
Right.
That we would probably not visit the concert halls and we would not be able to congregate possibly until the middle or the end of 2021. And so that posed not just for Pro Arte Musical, but for every arts organization that you can think of. Even, you know, when you go to New York, think about the New York Phil and New York City Ballet. Everyone was going through this sort of existential crisis. So what do we do? So we had two choices. We do nothing and stop and interrupt everything, or we try to figure out a way to move forward. And we were very fortunate. We challenged our ticket providers, our theater providers, to look out, and we said, okay, we want to write our last chapter first, and this is what we want you to be able to do for us. We want to be able to go onto your website, buy a ticket for Verona, for example, and get a confirmation with a link. And the day of the concert, I just hit the link. Now, you know, today, a lot of institutions are doing that, but this is a conversation we were having in April where nobody was doing it.
Right.
We reached out to Verona, we reached out to other groups that we would be presenting for the balance of the season. And some of them didn't know what we were talking about because they were really understanding that we'll be done by November and we'll just shift all the concerts into next year, right? And so it took a while and even for our own board to internalize the fact that this is a situation we're going to be in for a while. So at the end of the ending of the story is really wonderful. Etiquetera met that challenge, came back to us, I think around August, and said, Myrna, we're done. what you asked us to do, we figured it out. Send us a video of a concert that you have or of something that you have. We want to show it to you and show it to your board and take you through the steps of going in, buy the ticket, get the confirm. And we were delighted because not only was the solution now real, but the quality, the resolution, and you guys know about production.
Wow,
it's
absolutely.
The resolution, it's the sound, it's the quality of that experience. And so with that in hand, we said, okay, so we're ready now to reopen those two, take the pause buttons off.
Right.
The live concerts were going to be virtual, and Música Abierta would also be virtual. As a matter of fact, we were doing our master classes on Facebook Live. And we are fortunate enough now that we're going through Facebook Live and other media.
Right.
And then we'll be doing our master classes again. And the impact that has had is that the audience has gone through the roof, which has been wonderful.
Right. I mean, you're reaching out to a whole nother audience. There's a huge expansion that's occurring.
Exactly.
Because now you're touching people that wouldn't have normally even been familiar with Pro Arte.
Exactly. And even in Puerto Rico, if you live in San Juan, it's easy to get to Bellas Artes if you're going to see a live concert. If you live in Ponce or Mayagüez, Arecibo, it might not occur to you to come out just for the concert. So we can reach that audience. And then we can obviously, we can have a much broader audience, which I'm glad to share with you when Michael Cox, the executive director of Pro Arte, reached out to us and said, I'm watching your masterclasses, they're excellent. And that conversation led to a collaboration partnership with BxRx. So we now have ahead of us the production of it's somewhere between 19 and 21, 22 master classes and educational concerts through Música Abierta, et cetera, that will be transmitting, you guys will be transmitting into your communities in the US. And so we are delighted.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Oh, good. That's news to me. So we're actually going to be broadcasting it here for our viewers. Wonderful. Thank you for explaining all of that. Mina, forgive me for not acknowledging you as our BxRx board member.
Oh, that's quite all right. That's quite all right.
And so, Karen, you could share with us the mission of Pro Arte Musical and how you choose and curate the artists that are going to be presented throughout your concert series.
Well, we usually have thank you so much. Before I say anything else, thank you so much for having us back. And it was a hit the last time you had it, so it was great.
Yes, it was wonderful.
We usually have 7 to 8 concerts a year as part of our season. 2 of which, 1 or 2 depending on the winners of the Premio Ferdman, the Ferdman Prize that is given to a young artist, hopefully Puerto Rican, who applies and to study music wherever it is that they're accepted.
Right.
We also have some concerts that are out of the regular season. We have a great artistic committee. There is 1 board member and several other music professors and artists in our community that are part of that. And they go through all the promotions that we get from the different artists, from the different agencies. They look into Gramophone, they search all the webs to get the best artists that we can bring to the island. Because part of what Pro Arte was doing was so many people can't travel to the States or to Europe or to South America or to Central America to see some of these amazing artists. So a part of our mission was to bring some of these artists to Puerto Rico so our audience could be exposed to them and see this wonderful music. We also bring our international Puerto Rican artists here so that our own audience can see that we have artists that are all over the world. And
as well.
That's true.
Yeah. So that's very, very important to us. And this year when Myrna challenged, because she was the one who challenged Tiquetera and said, we want to do this. And we want a local
She's like, oh yeah, I
company
did
to do this,
that.
and see what you do about it. And we're waiting.
Figure it out. Figure it out.
Figure it out, because I wanted to be figured out. And they figured it out. So then we said, all right, let's see.
And from the
if we go
sounds of
virtual.
it, it's been a
How is it-
success.
Well, so far,
Yes, it has. It really has. It's been an amazing learning experience. I call it an adventure, because I come from the theater, and this is
Right.
technology.
I
But
get
I've
it.
learned an awful lot. And we started out with some of our own concerts from here in Puerto Rico. We got in touch with this wonderful group of, I call them kids because they could be my kids,
Right.
but they are young men and women who belong to a group called La Vid. And they are from the western part of the island, and they traveled to San Juan, and they have developed the most beautiful sound when they record. And it's marvelous. It's been wonderful. So they've been coming and they've been recording our concerts, the local ones.
That's wonderful. So you've even been able to employ local
Oh, yes.
videographers and
Yes.
technicians.
absolutely.
And that's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So that
Yes,
the
great.
flow and the generation of monetary gain and
Yes.
fluidity within the finances is flowing
Yes.
throughout the island as well. That's wonderful, wonderful,
Yes.
brilliant, brilliant, right? Because at the end of the day, we have to serve each other at this point. That's where we're at
Yes.
in our society.
And it's been amazing to watch. Some of the guys from La Vie are actually musicians. And so they bring a
Yes.
particular sensitivity when they're taping other musicians. And so they'll follow the partitura, and they know when the solo goes on. And so they know where to shift their cameras. So their production is an artistic process in and of itself. So it just takes it to another level. It enhances the quality. And of course, what we're trying to do is, when you're substituting a live performance, and you're asking someone to sit in their living room and watch this on their TV or on their device, what we're trying to do is come as close as possible to
Right.
that intimate experience of the live concert. And so their help and their sensitivity in what they bring to the process has been wonderful. So we've got these
Well,
great recordings to share with everybody.
That's awesome. And so before we go, I just want to share with everyone that the idea is that, yes, you go to Tiquetera and you get your ticket because, again, this is a contribution to the establishment, to the musicians, to the entire effort being made in providing you with this quality art of artwork and concerts. And so while they're doing that now, presently, and there's a new concert coming up, it's going to also premiere on BronxNet later in the future. And so I want to thank you for bringing it to our networks as well. And thank you for being here with me and sharing all of this with our viewers. And once again, you guys, Pro Arte Musical Fall Concert Series featuring Verona Quartet is taking place on November 7th. And for tickets, you can visit tiquetera.com. And for more information, visit proartemusical.com. We have to take a quick break.
I'll tell you, if you come into at 6:30 in the afternoon before
We
the
have a
concert,
prelude.
there's going to be an interview of the quartet with students from the Conservatory of Music. So there will be that exchange, and that's usually very exciting.
And that's part of how we curate the experience too.
Right, right.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. So it's lovely because it's important, right? We're going to familiarize ourselves. It's almost like a BTS. Yeah. All right, guys, we got to take a quick break, but when we return, we're going to speak to the actual members of Verona Quartet. Don't go anywhere.